Hey, I'm Jay Kumar, the Bass Blaster, and this is your Seafoam Top 5 of the Week in Bass Fishing. Number 1. The General made John Cox's career? Okay, not this General, that one. That's right, the Berkley Powerbait Max Scent General Stickworm. Man, all bass fans know that John Cox likes to fish shallow, and a lot of the times it's with a 5-inch Berkley Max Scent General tied on.
Wow.
Got him on the General. Whew.
But what none of us realized till he just said it is that one bait in basically one color, baby bass, with that magical Max scent literally made John's career. Sorta. Here's a little of what he said about it. That worm helped me get 5 on so many days when I struggled and got me to the final day where I could win with something else. He also talks about fishing the Bassmaster Opens, of course, a big field there, and he says, you end up fishing behind people. I was so shocked that I could go behind people and throw it in the same areas and at the same targets and catch them. Now he says in that post he of course fishes it weightless, he also Texas rigs it, he Nico rigs it, and he even said he's starting to fish it like a jerkbait, jerking it through the water. And he's still learning new ways to fish it, the stickworm. And so is his good bud Keith Carson, who also loves the Max Scent General in that baby bass color. Man, don't doubt those guys, they've been tearing them up. Number 2. Do you know how Gary Yamamoto started the whole stickworm craze by inventing the Senko? Which, when it's all said and done, might end up being the #1 bass bait of all time? Well, pull up some Doritos and listen to longtime pro John Murray telling the story.
They came out with this bait, and at that time there was a bait that was killing them across the country. It was called a sluggo. And it was a twitch bait, sort of like a fluke. It caught them everywhere. It was the hottest bait in the US for a lot of years. So Gary Yamamoto wanted a bait that could compete with that. You know, basically the story I heard is they used a pen, you know, a writing pen, and made this chunk of plastic.
That explains a lot.
Yes, it does, Shrek. Now, Gary has said himself that he got the idea for the Senko from a Bic pen. I always thought it was a fountain pen. It looks like a fountain pen shape to me, but it was a Bic pen. Anyhow, the whole make a mold out of this pen idea changed bass fishing forever. Because as we all know, that Senko stickworm shape gives that little shimmy as it falls. And for whatever reason, the bass love it. Thank you, Gary. Now, if Yamamoto would just come out with some decent colors. Just messing. Number 3.
Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That is why it is called the present.
Okay, I have no idea if Vermont's Jody White saw that movie before he fished the Bassmaster Open on the St. Lawrence River last weekend, but he ended up with not just one present, but 2. First, during practice for the Open, he won the ABA one-dayer with 27 pounds, and he had the big fish of the tournament, which was a 6+ pounder. Then he went out and fished against a field of northern and southern hammers fishing that Open, including the much feared Canadian Johnston brothers, and he went out and beat them all. Not only is that an amazing accomplishment, he became the first bass fishing media guy, meaning guys like me, to win a major event. Now, a few of our less rational media compadres have tried over the years. They thought they could do it, they thought they could hang, but they got their rears handed to them. But Jody didn't. He just set the bar, man, and here's how he fished.
When there was no crawdad to be found, we ate sand.
You ate what?
We ate sand.
You ate sand?
That's right.
Okay, crayfish and sand probably had something to do with it. Anyhow, he fished a drop shot with a Berkley Max Scent flatworm in brown back and green pumpkin, and a couple sizes of Kitech fat swim baits. Huge congrats to him. There's no luck in that deal, and he's not a local either. Number 4. Does the color of the bottom change the color of bass prey items? And if so, what should we do about it? Now check this tadpole color chart from a recent study. Those color names on top are all the colors of the bottoms those tadpoles were over. All the same kind of tadpole, by the way. Interesting, huh? Now check out this video of gobies over a darker bottom and now over a lighter bottom. Same exact fish, two different colors. Now we've all seen crayfish crawl out from under rocks and be dark colors. How about this one over a sandy bottom? And how about bluegills? Bluegills in weed beds are different colors than bluegills in open water over a muddy or sandy or rocky bottom. So maybe we should be carrying lighter colored baits just in case we end up fishing over lighter colored bottom areas. Here's maybe a quick example. Now we all know smallmouth water is typically very clear, and most people end up, at least in the Great Lakes, fishing goby colors. That's typically a green pumpkin with a little bit of gold or purple flake, or both. So then how do we explain the brown back color of flatworm working so well? Is it really mimicking some other bait fish down there, or is it really mimicking gobies over a light colored bottom, which is where a lot of those bigger smallmouths are found, in that sandy type area? That's some bass food for thought, bass peeps. And on the other end of the spectrum, black works. Do we need shorter rods?
Shorter? Really?
Well, I've been saying for a few years now that I think a lot of us fish with too heavy a rod. I mean, not all of us can set the hook like Ish Monroe, Bobby Lane, or Greg Hackney.
Godzilla ain't got nothing on me right now.
Haha, I love that line. Okay, how about lighter and shorter rods? Now this is all coming up because a guy named Drew Reese, who is one of the Ned Rig pioneers, is coming out with some new rods made by Z-Man. They're spinning rods, of course, for Ned rigging. They're both under 6 feet long, and I believe they're both medium light rods. When is the last time you fished with a rod that was under 6 feet long? Anyhow, they both have that old school Tennessee rod handle reel seat thing where you tape your reel on, and it's for a reason.
The reel is taped to the handle. It cuts down on weight, which increases sensitivity, but what it does more importantly, you actually get flex all the way into your hand. So you can feel a strike, a fish, when you're fighting it.
That extra sensitivity seems to be the biggest deal with these rods, especially when you're fishing these little baits. Drew says in that video that his friend Ned now fishes only these rods, and they're so sensitive he can tell what kind of vegetation his bait is pulling through. Well, for sure there's been a trend to finesse fishing, and with that, lighter rods and reels, and maybe this is just part of that trend, although just for Ned rigging.
If you were into the Ned rig, just the TRD, the tickler, hula stick, and the shroomsy head, if you like those baits, this is the ultimate rod for fishing a Ned rig.
That's all I got for you this week. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Seafoam. Go to BassBlaster.com or .rocks to sign up for the Bass Blaster email, The Juice. See you next week. God bless you.